Well, yes, people, welcome to another driver's seat review. My name is Wayne. Of course, this week we have to talk about Stallone's latest installment in the Rambo franchise, Rambo Last Blood. And look, first of all, I gotta say, my voice is definitely not at its best. I am still recovering from the worst known disease to the human race, man flu. So yeah, people, let's start off from the start. The Rambo franchise, I've grown up on it, much like I did the Rocky films. I've been a fan since before I can remember. I saw Rambo 3 at the cinemas when it first came out. I was about 5 years of age. Saw the last one at the cinemas. Yeah, and the one thing that really pisses me off about this whole franchise is the name. But if you break it down, so we go from First Blood, Rambo, First Blood Part 2, Rambo 3, Rambo, Rambo Last Blood. It is the most disconjointed fucking franchise with titles I can think of. And now onto the film itself, and like I said, I'm not going to spoil the film at all. I actually enjoyed it. It's definitely not the best in the series, but I'll explain why I actually enjoyed it, because I know a lot of people are probably jumping at the screen going, you're out of your goddamn mind. First Blood is an absolute masterpiece. It is one of the greatest action films ever made, and yeah, like, nothing can really surpass that, and I didn't expect this film to. It was never going to. Then you get Rambo First Blood Part 2. Personally, my worst in the franchise. Why? For starters, it followed up First Blood and was almost trying to do the impossible task. It made Rambo a superhuman video game character. It tried to win back Vietnam in a way, so it had this political message that I just didn't understand or agree with. But overall, it was fun. It was big, dumb fun. Then you get Rambo 3, which did try to have more of a political message to it, but by this stage, yeah, Rambo was just a superhuman, just killing machine. So by this stage, it was just a fun action film. It didn't really have much else going for it. Then we had this long-awaited gap to the fourth Rambo movie, and it was awesome. I really, really loved Rambo 4. Yeah, I'm calling it Rambo 4. Deal with it. It grounded Rambo into a more realistic tone. Bloody as hell and gory, but it made sense for the film. And now we get Rambo Last Blood, and my biggest issue with the film is that, yeah, it doesn't feel like a Rambo film. It kind of feels like they've written this whole action film and somehow Rambo's been thrown into the storyline. I mean, he's no longer got the bandana, he's no longer got the mullet, so it feels kind of odd seeing Rambo out of his environment, but I also enjoyed the fact that we're just not treading the same shit that we've seen Rambo do before. And I can hear people already saying, oh, well, we're already seeing Rambo doing what Liam Neeson's character did in Taken. And I understand those complaints, and I do agree with that. The one thing I don't understand is what people are saying, this has strayed so far from the original that it's now gotten silly. That happened with the second film, people, so I don't understand how you expected this to revert back to the original film. That was never... If you watch the trailer, you know what you're getting in for. It's gonna be gory, fun, action, and that's really it. And I'm okay with that because I knew going in that's what I was expecting. Would I have liked to have seen a Logan-esque type of film with Rambo? Yeah, I would have loved it. And then you know what's going to happen? People are going to be like, shit, he's copying Logan. So it's a no-win situation. But I would have liked to have seen that. Most of all, I like seeing an action movie that doesn't have a goddamn superhero in it. Well, yeah, Rambo is a superhero. But lately, all these goddamn action films are all Marvel-related, DC-related, fucking comic book-related. And I am comic booked the hell out, people. This is why I like films like John Wick, where you're getting a character that isn't out of a goddamn comic book on the big screen that I can enjoy as an action hero. And this morning I saw the original author, David Morrell, if I recall. He has issues with the film. He said that he's actually embarrassed to have his character and his name associated with this last Rambo film. And look, I don't know if he's referring to the fact of its violence, and if it is, I call bullshit on that, because if you've read the first Rambo book, he kills innocent people. Rambo in the original book is brutal. He is not a nice guy. And yeah, he's suffering from all the torment that he got in the war, but it still doesn't justify the fact that he kills innocent people. The one thing I think people misunderstand with this film and the last one is he isn't glorifying Rambo at all. He's not saying that this guy is someone we should look up to. He's saying he's fucked up. So to really sum up the plot without spoiling anything, for those who don't know, Rambo in the last film returned home to America for the first time in like 25 years. He returns back to the ranch that he grew up on, which his father owned, set to just live the normal life and live out and just live in peace, so to speak. He helps raise this young girl whose mother has passed away and father was a deadbeat. She, by this stage, has grown up and wants to find out why her father left her. You know, Rambo flat out says he's a piece of shit, you don't want to know this guy, and yeah, he really is a piece of shit. Rambo tells us straight out, he's a piece of shit, you don't want to be involved with people like this. Which, of course, we all know she's going to ignore because she wants to find out answers. She goes to Mexico, and here lies one of the big issues of the film that people are really, really complaining about. It paints the people of Mexico in a very bad light. Number one, I don't think that this was the image that Stallone was trying to get across. I think he was trying to say that this area that she ends up going to is the slums of Mexico and is run down and it is quite a bad place to be in real life. However, the film itself doesn't explore the fact that, yeah, there is a lot of positives in Mexico and the people from Mexico. And look, a lot of people compare this to Taken, and yeah, in Taken, they did the same fucking thing. You know, the people in that are not portrayed any better than what the Mexican people are in this film. And yeah, with all the political messages at the moment going on, it might have not have been the smart time to release this film with all the big debate about border security and Stallone himself. I love the way he portrays Rambo in this. I know some people are complaining, but he's John Rambo. He's a completely mentally disturbed Vietnam vet who will never recover and sees just the evil inside everyone. Who, no matter how many people he saves, no matter how many good deeds he does, there's always a form of evil in this world that he just can't help but see. And then look, and at the end of the day, it really depends on what type of film you're going and wanting to see. If you're going expecting a gruesome action film with not much substance behind it, then yeah, you're gonna get satisfied with this film. If you are expecting the Logan, story-driven, deep character development of films such as Logan, you're not gonna get that here. And I think this is where you're gonna see the divide in critics' reviews compared to the fan base's reviews. And look, people are criticizing what Stallone has done with the character of Rambo, but let's look at characters like John McClane. Die Hard was one of the greatest films ever. And not just of the 80s, I'm talking about, it is one of the greatest action films, period. And then you come to the last Die Hard film, which to me is far more disappointing than what any of the Rambo films have become. And then you come to something like the Terminator franchise, which 1 and 2 are absolutely phenomenal. 3 I think had a great idea, just was not executed well, except for that amazing ending. Salvation is just hit and miss. Genesis is pure and utter shit. And now we come to Dark Fate, which hasn't come out yet, but I just don't know about that film. So with Rambo Last Blood, yeah, I understand people's disappointment who expected and wanted more. So for me to say you're wrong, no, you're not wrong. It's based on opinion. And that's the whole issue. People who are going to love it, who are getting hated for loving it, or people who hate the film, and those who are hating them for hating the film. It comes down to an opinion, people. If you want to love the film for what it is and you just enjoyed it, that's great. If you want to hate the film for what it's done to the franchise and you expected more, that's okay as well. I, for one, enjoyed about 80% of this film. And without spoiling it, I wish there was more of a finale to this character that would send him off in a way that felt more appropriate. I love the villains in this film. I do agree that they're not fleshed out enough and they're just nameless villains. I kind of wish more like they were like the baddies in RoboCop. Pure evil sons of bitches, but with more character development. The issue with Rambo, and look, the issue with Rambo 4 was the same. We had that general who was a complete evil pedophile piece of shit. But besides that, we didn't really get to know him that well. Look, to rate these films in the order that I actually like them, First Blood, way up here. Rambo 4 would probably be bad here. I honestly would probably put Last Blood just down here. I honestly think it's better than 2 and 3, and 3 would be here with part 2 down here. Honestly, I really think 2 was the worst film in the franchise. For what it did to the character, insulted me a lot more than what this one did. But hey, Rambo First Blood Part 2 is easily the most successful film in the franchise. So, you can't argue with box office numbers. So people, that has been my review of Rambo Last Blood. So now you be sure to give this video a like, hell, maybe even subscribe. No, subscribe. Look, I'm only messing with you, you don't have to. But if I was you, I would. And I hope you enjoyed this review, people, and, you know, if you did like the video, yeah, give us a like, maybe subscribe, maybe even share the video. Go check out the rest of our content on the OBN network, and hopefully I'll see you next time. This has been Wayne, and you have been watching Rambo Last Blood on Driver's Seat Review, only on the OBN network.